I hope that you are well. And if you are not, hang in there. We are here today with our first episode of Poetry Hour with a guest, and this is Jess Duger. She's also known as the Rainbow Creatrix. And do you want to tell us who is Jess and who is the Rainbow Creatrix?
I would love to tell you that.
Okay.
So the Rainbow Creatrix was a name that came out a handful of years ago when I wanted to open an online business for all things creative. And I wanted my Instagram page to be separate from the normal stuff I post.
Yes.
So I have a personal one that's like nature and lots of selfies, and then I wanted one.
I love it. I'm just
Thank
going
you.
to interject. I think it's wonderful and inspiring.
I appreciate that. And then I wanted another page to be poetry and face painting, canvas art, and that type of stuff. So
Sort of branding. Then.
yes, exactly. And I wasn't sure what to come up with, but I just sat down literally with notebook and pen and started jotting down words that excite me, what sparks joy. And of course, people who know me know that everything I do is some variation of the rainbow, very colorful.
Mm-hmm.
And personally, I feel like everything I do is in the name of art and creativity.
Yes.
So that brought together Rainbow and Creatrix, which I preferred over creator. It gives it that kind of feminine flair, and it sounds just like witchy and exciting.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how that all came together.
That's wonderful, because it's hard to call yourself creator, 'cause that's
Right.
That's big. That's
all powerful.
big G.
yeah. I don't have that.
Well, we're little G. We have the spark inside of us. We are creatrix. We're chip off the block, I think.
100%.
Energetic. So that's,
Creator flows through me.
absolutely.
Yes.
Everything is flowing through us. Things are happening through us, not to us, right?
Amen.
That's something I'm really thinking to myself regularly lately, is how things are happening through all of us.
Mm-hmm.
I think we experience things more deeply than we need to sometimes, because we kind of like hang on as it's going by.
It's so true. And I've been feeling that as well lately.
I think it's inevitable right now in the times of the world.
It is.
But that's one of the reasons why we're doing this, because for poetry, it's age old. This is something that people have been doing and sharing or using as a tool for healing or expression since we could.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, haven't we just seen new memes and pictures of early cave art where they're in despair? Like, you can see they're like, wow, we were down bad.
Yes.
We were always down bad with something. So poetry, I think, is a way to celebrate, a way to help our grief process.
100%.
There's a lot to it. And I think I was telling you, or I was going to tell you before, that's why. So I started with the Healing Heart series and then ended up with the poetry coming up on that, because that was a part of my Healing Heart series.
Yes.
Is the poetry.
Right.
Compiling it all and looking at it and
Reflecting.
gauging, who I was, who I am now.
Where you've been.
Yeah,
where you are.
do I want to edit this?
Oh,
Do I want to leave it alone?
Yes, that brings.
And I had a friend, my friend Naomi said to me, was like, I think clearly there are some edits that need to be made, like if there's a typo or, but like sometimes when you write, like, leave it alone. Like, that came out the way it did because that's what it is.
Yes.
And that's who you really are in that moment. And you don't have to identify with that later, but that poem is not yours anymore now.
Yes. That's such a beautiful way of looking at it. And just to that same note, it's like poetry isn't a promise about who we are. It becomes an artifact of who we were. And so, because sometimes I'll hesitate to put something out because I'm processing a big feeling. And then a lot of times once I've written my poem, that big feeling no longer exists because I did the creative process.
You did.
And so it's like, is this even true anymore? It doesn't matter if it is, because once upon a time it was.
It was.
And it's a reflection of who you've been along the way.
Yeah.
And it's this process that says, here I am now, and here I am now, and here I am now. So it's this evolving narrative always. And so I think it's very important that we don't censor ourselves and don't hesitate to leave things raw, leave things unedited, because it's just a part of the authenticity of the creative process.
Absolutely. I think that is probably spot on for all kinds of expression. Changing anything about what we've shown, like pieces of art there are things that I'm like, you know, but I wouldn't go back and change that. And other people see different things in it, and they get something from it.
Yes.
So I have to, we got to leave it alone sometimes.
Totally. First it's about us, right?
Yeah.
And then you put it out there and you don't know how it's going to affect people.
Or like a conduit, too.
Yes, exactly.
Channeling something or giving something, and who's to say who it's for? Once it's not for us anymore. I mean, it's always kind of for us, I think. Like, even looking back, I am exercising, you know, not feeling shame upon the self-reflection of some of the poems, where it was like, ooh, he's showing my immaturity, or showing my emotional immaturity, and it was a part of the process. Like, I love that girl too, because I wouldn't be me today.
Yes.
With the more mature voice, and it's still the same voice. Yes. So I think if we edit or if we censor our voice, then there's a discrepancy. Then you've got this chopped up, like, who are you? Who am I? Like, how, oops, I probably just made a big loud noise on my microphone. But
it's all part of the creative process.
Boom. I feel like that's a part of not taking things personal, being objective, and then your delivery of these poems and things, like, you're not so attached. You can detach, like, you're giving something, you're just passing it through. It's a hard thing, because I'm about to, I needed to turn back to the poetry for a part of the Healing Heart series for myself personally. It was like, that was a way of expression where I wasn't holding a paintbrush, because it's not always that, and you know that. I love that you know exactly what I mean. Every time I turn around, you are one way or another, you know, whether it's
pen or paintbrush,
dolls
something.
or
or dolls.
You got glue.
Could be anything,
you got
really.
A paintbrush, you got a pen. It's
a Barney bag of options.
Amazing.
For self-expression.
But it is always happening. Like, you're like, oh, it's this way today. Okay, it's like this, and I felt like that was something I hadn't done for a while. Was turn to the written word. You know, we're journaling, and a lot of our sister circles have us leaning into that. Decorating the journals. I love when we did that. Giving ourselves these little sacred spaces to facilitate that, should it come out, whether it's venting or dreaming or poetry. And I was like, I've got books of poetry, and I am really doing work on self and where I've been and where I'm going. So I think that's part of this right now. And so the Healing Heart series is like, okay, I'm just going to sit to the side here. That will be much more full, and it's filling up the more I'm able to go through that and relate to both myself, who I've been, and who I am aiming to be.
100%. That's important to revisit both of those things and make those connections.
Yeah. And then I'm like, well, the poetry book will come out before the other book, but that ended up being a part of my grieving and my healing process, which was amazing. That, you know, we have all these things in our toolboxes and tool bags, and I feel like every person on the planet does, and I really want this. I want to help people recognize it in themselves, because 100%. I didn't start doing art until, I did poetry first, believe it or not. I didn't start doing art until I started painting secretly when I had 2 babies already. Really? Yeah, I'd been doing a little bit of art throughout life, but because I was fairly artistic, but like not really leaning into technique and learning, and degree in psychology. I didn't get a degree in fine art, so learning everything I can, soaking it up from everywhere, and put the poetry completely away. It's very strange. I went from a person who was like writing on napkins. Yeah. You know. And you switched up your art form. But that's part of the creative process. Exactly. I mean, I know my healing mirrored it. It makes so much sense now. It was maybe it was too deep in a way, because the words. Art is more. Yeah, well, it's imagery, right? You can do with that what you will. Whereas words can be very, very specific. Very cutting. I don't want to talk about it yet, maybe. And that was really a lot of it for me, I think, now that I think about it. But it was really good to go back over it and not edit things and sweat a little bit. And there were a couple of things where I was like, okay, well, I don't think I want to share that one, but I'm not going to rip it in half. Right, yes. Yeah, exactly. And you get to pick and choose. In this moment, how do I feel about sharing this? Your body will let you know. Oh, yeah. And if it's not something you have to share right then don't share it right then. But again, you don't have to demonize it altogether. Yeah. It serves a purpose. It served a purpose. And it has a place in the creative process. I agree. And I think, I can't remember which one of my friends said, it's just like that feeling that you might be having when you're editing You know, it's almost like overworking the canvas.
Mm-mm. Oh my gosh, yes.
Step away,
right?
Too, because, and there were times where I had to hand over the manuscript to a friend and just be like, I can't, like, I can't even see it anymore.
Sure.
But I feel that way about a painting sometimes.
Oh, totally.
People, I walk past that painting so often, and you're like, oh wow. And I was like, what is she talking about?
Your masterpiece. I wish we could redirect the camera here right now. But...
See, yeah, Eli wanted to be our cameraman. He would be great. Maybe we'll hire him.
There we go. Next time.
Yes. So I want to ask you some questions.
Yes. Let's hear it.
So we were talking about your creative process, and first I want to ask you, how long have you been writing, actually?
So I have been writing as long as I have been having deep feelings. So, and I would say that was probably the onset of puberty for me.
Cool.
So right around 11, and I wrote, this might be an upcoming question, but I would dabble in short stories, poetry, of course, and in terms of like editing and refining. Not that long ago, I came across some like older journals and older poems, and sometimes you really just do give yourself the ick, and there's like massive cringe, but that's okay too, because you know,
you're seeing like this.
Yes, you know, I was writing with the perspective that I had as an 11-year-old about the things that were big and, you know, poignant to me then. Yeah, but for as long as I can remember, many of us were 11, so I think that will speak to... Yes, other people as well.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're not giving yourself the ick every now and again, are you even living? Were you ever even 11?
Can you find your feelings?
Yes.
There's going to be an ick in there somewhere.
100%. But, and that's all part of, you know, because the creative process is the process of growing up. It's a part of life. I think so many people who don't identify as a creative might not recognize that, but essentially the creative process is being in life, being alive on this earth. So I always call it the poetry before the poetry, or the pre-poetry, and that's just the raw.
You're warming up.
Yeah, it's the experience of life. That's the original creative process, 100%. Like
we all are. We all start that way.
Yes.
We walk, we fall down, we
get up.
It doesn't look pretty.
No. And life has to happen.
It belongs.
It does. For us to feel things. And then when we feel things, we have options. What are we going to do with that? Yeah. So some people sing or dance or write or paint or a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
But the true poet is life, and then you take that into you, and through your own vessel, you know, you put that into your own poetry, your own art.
Yeah. So when you wrote short stories, you say, were they fiction or were they nonfiction?
So they were all made up little fantasies about like the dream life that I wanted. So, and I was not to throw myself under the bus, because I think I'm a wonderful writer.
We'll hold space and grace for
Thank
that
you.
little one.
But at that time, they weren't, you know, any good. It was just like...
The eloquent voice hadn't developed.
No, it was just cutesy, childish, this boy this, that girl that, you know, that sort of thing. I remember I would go through magazines and rip out pictures of people that I thought would fit a lovely version of like a girl in school, or the character of someone who had like two little blonde girls, and I would just find people from magazines to inspire the writing. But essentially they didn't develop. There wasn't like very clear beginning, middle, end, or plot. It wasn't anything like that. It was just kind of like just blurbs, but it was fun.
Yeah.
And my friend and I would do that. We'd sit in my yard, and we would write, and then we'd take turns reading each other our stories.
I love that.
Yeah,
you were 11. You were like a child. I'm so impressed.
Oh, thanks.
Well, that's why you do what you do, because that's what you've done.
Yeah.
So that's who you are.
It really is. The other day I found a picture, this isn't completely unrelated, of my first Cabbage Patch doll, of me with my first Cabbage Patch doll. Her name was Cecilia. I couldn't have been more than 7 or 8.
You know the song that's in my head now?
What? I don't know it.
Cecilia,
oh.
You're breaking my heart.
I don't know if I know that one.
Oh no.
I'm gonna have to look it up.
I won't sing it anymore.
Okay,
Please
that's
go
fair.
on.
Yes, thank you. No, I'm just kidding. But I'm holding the doll in the picture, and I realized that the doll is a face painting doll. It's literally called Face Painter Kid.
Oh.
I know, I swear. And I came across that the other day, and I wonder how many things...
Did she have face painting?
She didn't, but she came with like crayons that you could draw on the doll's face, and like things to clip into her hair. And I wonder how much of that truly trickled over. Do you know what I mean? If it's just a coincidence, or if at an early age that left an imprint on me that I never. You know what I mean?
You were like, wow, this is possible.
I don't know.
And your little self was like.
Yeah. Or I'm like, was that gifted to me, or did I choose that one out of a store? I don't remember. But at any rate, it's, here I am now.
There's infinite possible timelines and versions, so I'm sure there's one you out there that chose it and one you out there that gifted it. And,
true.
But it all led to you becoming aligned with that.
Yeah.
That's not surprising to me from what I now understand about time being all wibbly wobbly and timey-wimey, and how it isn't a straight line, how before and after isn't really real. Everything is now. Like, I am literally the me that already did X, Y, and Z.
Yes.
And that also experienced that. And there's also the areas of our brain that are responsible and light up for memories is exactly the same as visualizing a future event that hasn't quite happened. That hasn't happened.
It's so interesting.
So you're like remembering your future.
I love this stuff.
And you can do that because that is literally how time works. We're in space. We're hopping sideways. We're not. There's no forward, backward.
That's why
we're choosing. It's not poetry. It's
another episode.
It's a whole other show.
I want to be a part of that one too.
I'm gonna branch out. I know. I love it. And the quantum identity. Oh my gosh, I'm super excited. I keep slapping my microphone.
This is how excited you are.
I get all excited and flap my arms around. That's okay. That's who I am. I'm a flapper.
Nothing wrong with that.
Okay, there's things we can cut out if we need to.
Sure.
So, have you ever thought about continuing short stories or novels? Like,
it doesn't interest me anymore.
Okay.
I don't feel like my brain works in that way. My brain works in poetry, period. Or sometimes like, I can't think of the word, stream of consciousness sort of thing.
Prose.
Yeah.
So it's like, feels poetic, but it's more paragraphy.
Yes, exactly. Thank you. When I have friends, who write very expansively in those ways, novels, short stories, etc.
It's so admirable.
It's so impressive.
Such a commitment.
I have a friend who's like, oh, I'm on chapter 18 of 27. I'm like, what do you mean you've written 18 chapters? And they know what's going on in their story and
the character.
Everything. Yes, thank you.
I'm impressed.
It's impressive, and I don't want that.
I'm working on that, but it's a whole other animal. And
it is.
I'll get there. That's why I'm leaning in the poetry. Just getting the chops.
Right. Building up to that.
How do you feel about autobiographical stuff? Like, I know Elise Myers, you know who she is. She's kind of funny. She's anxious.
Okay, wow. That doesn't narrow it down for me.
She's artistic and creative and hilarious and raw and real. And I'm sure you've seen her, you recognize her.
I bet I would.
She does a lot of social media stuff. So she's releasing a book, and it's that's a great question. I'd love to tell you about it or something like that. Don't quote me.
Okay.
Because that's what she says. Almost all of her videos open up like people send in questions, or there's world questions, or something's going on. And she's like, that's a great question. I'd love to. So that's the name of her book. And it's not really, it's like short stories, but they're just her quirky like experiences and things like that. Well, I thought of you actually when I saw her releasing that. It comes out October 14th, I think.
Oh, that's cool.
And I'm butchering it. I'm not even doing a great advertisement for it.
No, I love it already. I'm sold.
She is incredible, and she's a reader too. So like words, I love listening to her, and she sings. She sings.
Oh wow.
I think she plays guitar. I don't know if she plays. I know she sings.
Oh wow. Cool.
She's like
a little bit of everything.
Yes. So I highly recommend.
Okay.
I can't wait to check that out. But I think of you when I think of something like that sort of writing, where it's like you're having a conversation with your audience.
Sure.
So like if it's not poetry, like that's the other thing that I'm picturing. That's a me thing. I'm picturing you, nailing something like that, where you're just sitting down and just like, well.
Yeah, and it's funny that you say that, because I think I was looking at it differently when you originally posed that question. But sometimes even just on my Instagram, my captions used to get super wordy. And I'm like, oh, this is a short story.
You're chatting.
I'm chatting. I don't know who's listening.
But you're telling the story of the day.
Yes. Of the day, of the image, of whatever.
A stranger, a bird.
Yeah.
Tea.
Yes, literally those things.
The goose.
All of those have been subjects.
You need to put it all in the book.
Well, that's just the thing, is one of my friends, shout out to Josette,
Oh,
if she won't mind.
yes.
She was the one who inspired me to create an Instagram page with my writing, with my art.
Good.
And then a handful of years ago, she was like, "And now you should write a book." And so I am. And so that's
Yay,
very
that was my
close to
next
being
question.
finished. Yes.
So, and it is like that then. So
It
sort of
is.
like-
It's so funny. You ask me, like, do you do this? I'm like, no, never. And that's literally what I'm doing. Yeah. So yes, I do.
I didn't mean to blow up your spot. She's like, I really didn't want to tell anybody yet.
No,
but
no.
fine.
No, now's the time. Now's the time. It's taken a
Start
really...
whetting the appetites, you know, because people are gonna want this. They're gonna want to see that.
Yeah.
I want to see it. I can't wait.
you.
Like my poetry book, I decided because there's so many, you know, Rupi Kaur, which her quote is, "I'm not the whiskey you want, I'm the water you need."
Ooh. I love that.
So good, so good, contemporary. But you look at how it's done, and you're just like, gosh, it's been done. Like everything, all the words are different. They're all different people, but like that impact of like the presentation.
Yes.
Or I want people to be like, this is my favorite book. I carry this around. Look at you with your Mary Oliver book. Like,
I love
I
this.
love this. I know the pages. I've got some dog-eared. I'm not even I haven't even read any of those yet because I'm just chilling here. And like that's really how I want my poetry book to be. It's interspersed with slides of my art.
Love
Like
it.
a white background and just like boom, with
Gorgeous.
a border and like the title or the collection,
Yes.
and sort of having to do with subject matter that's in the book. But yeah, just trying to come up with different ways to deliver.
Yes, present that.
Yeah, and sometimes you're in such a personal journey with whatever it is that you're doing that somebody else describes something and you're just like, is that what I'm doing? Is it a coffee table book?
I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I used to work at Borders. We sold those.
100%. And who doesn't
People
love?
like them.
I love them.
Yeah.
I love a conversation starter
I'll carry it
book.
around myself. It'll be my own favorite book.
Have you ever heard of Inspiration Sandwich by Sark?
No.
I think it came out in like '92. I could be wrong.
I wasn't born yet. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know this.
I was just born, and it's a colorful flip book of this individual's writings, and they're all very whimsical, very playful, like watching snails make love in a park, or her adventures when she didn't have money and she was manifesting places to live, and she lived in a nook in a library in exchange for running the library. And
she's my spirit animal.
she's my spirit animal for sure. She's mine, not yours. No, I'm just kidding. I'll share.
You had her first.
But that deeply inspired me growing up, and I can't remember. I don't know why I have these two memories. I either found it thrifting, or my sister gifted it to me after she had thrifted it. I can't remember which one, but that played a large role in my sense of self and how I see the world through a very whimsical, playful lens, even though there is so much grief. And my book is not quite the same way, but essentially it's a poetry and prompt book. So I alternate imagery that I've created with words and poems on them.
I'm so excited.
Oh, thank you. And then the personal reflections, like where did this poem come from? So it's very personal. It's almost like a Dear Diary vibe. And it's light and interactive. So even though there's a lot of, heavier topics, grief, life, death, jealousy.
Self-help, girl. Like
It is, but self-help through the rainbow lens, so to say.
Lifting people.
I'm trying to, and giving them an opportunity, to look at themselves more lightheartedly, even when it comes to deeper things.
In the shadows, like bring it in.
Yes,
Lay
it's all
it
lovable.
out. Yes.
It doesn't have to be so serious. Like you said, some of this stuff's just passing through.
Growth is in the contrast, right?
Yes, it is. 100%. And that's
Hicks?
probably could have been.
Every other word out of her mouth.
I know, right? Well, it just never gets old.
It
because
doesn't.
it's true.
It's a fact.
Yes. And then I follow that all up with prompts. So people get an opportunity to self-reflect.
Little blank page.
Yes, do their own, have their own opportunities for self-exploration, self-expression. Doodle, literally, I encourage people to doodle in there. It's just very playful, very fun, but also very deep and meaningful, and about kind of excavating that authentic self.
Yeah. You're like, this is how, watch me, let's do this together.
Yes. It's like going on a voyage, together.
It is, life's journey. That was like in one of my questions for you. So do you have a title for this?
Yes.
You do?
I do.
I'm so excited.
Thank you.
I just whacked my mic again.
That's how we know when she's really excited about something.
I'm going to have to take a pause and check the camera. It's probably like just notifications and we're not even recording.
I thought about that too.
The best interview ever. And it died.
Oh, wow. It is what it is.
We'll just tell people, you should have been there.
You should have been in the living room.
It was great.
So the title, what'd you say?
I said we'll sell tickets next
Yes,
time.
that's what we should do. Have a live audience. If you really want to
What
be
if we're
there.
going to start a talk show? It's just going to be us all the time. Like here, today we're going to talk about snails making love in a park.
Right? I could have a whole episode
Artistic
about that.
rendering.
Oh my gosh.
A
Okay, I
poem
think
about
I just
it.
slapped mine. A little bit of
It's time
everything.
to slap your mic.
That should just become a thing now.
Block your ears.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Title
Yes.
of the book. Thank you. Drum roll. Is called Expressions of Creative Joy and Other Human Feelings.
Oh my gosh, we are like cut from the same cloth.
I feel like
I
that
can
sometimes
feel it.
for sure.
I can feel it. That is a great title.
Thank you. It's all about humanity and
It
the human
is.
condition and how. What was it? Oh my gosh. I don't know.
Rumi.
It wasn't
Maybe.
Rumi.
Hafiz.
I'll have you tell me who it was. It might have been. She'll probably know. Nothing human is foreign to me.
It's gotta be Rumi.
Okay, I think
Rumi.
that's
So
something.
many Rumi
Me being
quotes.
a poet and not knowing where my
That's
poetry
okay.
comes
I
from.
just spit out quotes all the time too, and I'm like, I think I saw it on a meme something.
I don't know who this belongs to, but someone said something amazing one
Look, I
time.
think that was Einstein. I'm like, I put a hole in my own intellect.
No, that's okay.
I didn't remember it because it was smart.
Oh well.
He said something really great. I don't know. I was talking to the kids about it the other day, and I was like, "You get the gist." I botched the whole quote. It was about stripes and plaid. Like when you understand molecules and particles and waves and like everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're not really worried about wearing stripes and plaid at the same time. Like it's just you understand.
I love that.
And you can be. You're like in your skin. He did not say all of this. This is now,
No, this is Dana's version. I like it better.
The stripes and plaid is it. Like that's
Okay.
it. Probably molecules and particles that I don't know might have been in there, or waves, or the field, or the world. I have no idea. But once you have enough of a comprehension, because the more you know you don't know.
Yes.
So as long as you have
100%.
enough of a comprehension of it, you
Yes.
can apply just enough to let yourself off the hook
Yes.
to relieve
Yes.
yourself.
Yes. To live and to
Let
be and to
go.
exist.
We're clenching.
Yes.
We're clenching.
Yes. And there's nothing to hold on to.
No,
And there's
we're-
no one to hold on
We're
to
clenching
it.
ourselves, and we're like, ow!
Let go. It hurts.
We're like,
No one's making you do this.
doing it to myself. I've had a lot of moments like that lately where it's like, okay.
And then you hurt yourself and you gotta soothe yourself. Oh, sick and
We're
twisted.
learning. No. I think it's important, and especially to break cycles that way and to model the messy in between.
Yes.
There's a
Messy
middle.
Woo.
What?
Look at us.
We have to embrace the middle because the children are watching. The whole world, like the elders are watching.
Mm-hmm.
We are the ancestors.
Yes.
We need to act like it.
That's well said.
It's time to act like it. And that quote that's, you don't inherit the world or the earth from your grandparents or your parents. You borrow it from your grandchildren.
Oh, wow. Yeah. What a perspective right
Because
there.
time isn't linear.
Right.
But we are here right now, and what are we doing to this right now?
Mm-hmm.
And the only direction that's going to go, it's going to play out one way.
Mm-hmm. Dun dun dun.
Yeah, in a good
It all
way.
gets dark. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, that's what poets are for. That's what artists are for.
Yes,
because
yes.
then, oh my gosh, this was a great conversation, which is not entirely off topic. I smacked the mic.